This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Hey, it's Brian Christopher. Ready to chill this summer? You're in luck. I'm hanging out at Chumba Casino, and you're in for a treat. Chillax with hundreds of games, daily bonuses, exciting spins, and epic prizes. It's all here, always free to play. Kick back, have fun, and head to ChumbaCasino.com. Let's make this summer legendary.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See T&Cs. 21+.
Just in case you missed it, it's the top 5 sports talkers of the day. Now, it's time for Dan Barrero's Top 5 at 5. Brought to you by Gutter Helmet of Minnesota. Never clean your gutters again. Learn more at gutterhelmetmn.com.
All right, top 5 at 5 time. We are guest-free most of the rest of the way. Sometime around 6, we're going to replay our conversation with Adam Thielen, who's going to be the Viking regular on this show for the upcoming season, or the season that has already begun. So for those who missed it, at about 3:15, we'll play that back probably close to 6 o'clock. I will say, Gaardsy got my attention with his tease. So tell me, what are we talking about here?
Well, every Monday we used to have Cam Bynum on.
We did.
Did he have a pick six or a fumble recovery?
He had something pretty quick that
because he ended in the end zone and he did one of his breakdancing celebrations.
Correct.
He is the best. But we used to have him on every Monday to talk about the Vikings. And then, like every other Vikings guest we've had, he either got traded, fired, or retired. So good luck, Adam Thielen.
Yeah.
We look forward to you joining us every single Monday. But he was on your gal Kay Adams' show, Up and Adams, on FanDuel. And she, I guess, covers the entire league with them. And his old team came up.
Vikings game, fresh on my mind, like craziest week one of all time. When that fourth quarter happens, as somebody who you're entire... what does that say?
Insane.
I know, but like, explain to me what happened. I don't understand what happened. What happened?
I know you're a fan of him, but J.J. McCarthy happened. The fact that he can overcome what happened in the first half. I think they went like 0 for 10 on third down, which the stats percentage-wise on third down, you lose that's a big deal when it comes to winning and losing games. But the fact that, he threw his first interception, it being pick six, like all that stuff could mess your head up so bad as a first-year quarterback, first-year playing in his case. Like all of that could have went so wrong. But all the stories about, the crazy maniac, how much of a maniac JJ is, all those stories came true. So in the fourth quarter, he had 3 fourth quarter touchdowns.
Yes, like it was insane. They just put up.
Yeah.
Points. But you're saying it's all on him. It's something that he found?
Yes, he made those stories be real. Like people may call those stories like, okay, he's just putting on an act. But when he went out there and did what he did in the fourth quarter, it's like, all right, you can say nothing about J.J. McCarthy's mindset because he clutched the whole game. It was beautiful to watch.
Interesting. Well, that's an in-depth look. Maybe he misses us. What do you think? Maybe. Well, he probably would still rather be here, but we didn't have the money for him. We didn't have the money for him. He ended up with a nice offer, didn't he?
He did with the Indianapolis Colts. It's working out well for him, and they love him there, of course, like everybody loved him here. We'll just give you some JJ superlatives. You just mentioned it with Seifert. He's the first starting quarterback with a 10-point-plus fourth quarter comeback in his NFL debut since Steve Young. He's the only such quarterback since 1950 to do so on the road. He's the first player in NFL history to have 2 10-plus yard passing touchdowns and a 10-plus yard rushing touchdown in the fourth quarter of any game. He did it in his first. JJ, first NFL player to have 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
Any other obscure analytics you want to go with?
Their NFL debut. I got a couple.
Okay.
JJ is the first player since Cam Newton with 2+ passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown in his NFL debut. And here's my favorite one. He joined Fran Tarkenton as the only Vikings rookie to throw for 2 touchdowns and rush for a touchdown in a debut. That was the first game of the franchise in 1961.
Yeah, they killed the Bears, as I recall.
It all comes full circle.
It does come full circle.
We have
Maybe
Will
not.
we have J.J. McCarthy? Fran, no, I know the answer to that.
Yeah,
Will we have J.J. McCarthy on in 20 years?
Yeah.
And he'll be going, where are we, America? Because life comes full circle.
Well, again, we'll get into this because we're guest-free the rest of the way. We got several good, very compelling talking points to discuss. I don't think no one's foolish here. We know who the Vikings beat. They beat a Bears team that might end up being improved, but still has a long way to go. But the bottom line is, if you're on the road and you've got a quarterback playing in his first game and you're down 17-6 on the brink of going down 24-6, and you find a way to manufacture enough plays in a hurry to reverse exactly what has happened for the first three quarters, you just take it. You take it. You don't apologize for it, and you do look at it as, all right, we know there's going to be bumps. We know this guy's not great, but it is half of the evaluation of any young quarterback is you're going to get your rear end handed to you. What do you do on those occasions? How do you respond to it? And even if the opponent is lousy, given the circumstances, given how far behind you, well, not that far behind, but far enough behind going into the fourth quarter on the road, you take it as a victory. And you take it, I think, as an early indication that you got a guy who's not going to curl up in the fetal position if it doesn't go well. Doesn't mean you got to chisel the bust by any means, but I think the ability to reverse to this degree, to change the game to the degree that the Vikings and their quarterback did in the fourth quarter, that's all good. It doesn't mean he can't get better or doesn't have to get better overall, because you're going to play better teams as time goes on. Atlanta's probably a better team than the Bears, so it could be as soon as this week. But you never, I don't think you ever have to apologize for a positive evaluation after it's the first look you get, right, in meaningful competition.
Been waiting a long time for it.
Even if it's not the greatest team in the world, when you're down that way and you respond by making the number of passes and plays that you do, no, that's all good.
Vikings, for the record, according to DraftKings, are a 4.5-point favorite over the Atlanta Falcons for their home opener on Sunday night. You can hear it right here on the Fan. Ben Gessling, a Friday regular, Vikings beat writer, Star Tribune, reports that Blake Cashman is scheduled for an MRI on his hamstring today, but the initial expectation is that he will miss several weeks. We all saw him pull up after chasing Caleb Williams.
Devastated, too, didn't he?
Yeah,
he just looked annoyed.
Players know. Players know.
Plus, it's got to be a pain in the rear end to chase Caleb Williams.
Yes.
There's no question about that.
Exactly right. Remember Jalen Carter, the Philadelphia Eagles player?
The spitter.
Who spit on Dak Prescott. Did you see the update on him?
No.
He will not miss any future games. The NFL announced today that since Carter was ejected from last week's season opener without participating in a single play,
they consider that the suspension.
They consider it that he has already served a one-game suspension. So
time served.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he forfeits his game check, which is $57,000, but he'll be available to play in the Eagles' Week 2 Super Bowl rematch against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Sounds like the kind of recommendation you could get from the Hennepin County attorney.
I'm
just saying.
I was waiting. I'm not going to lie. I wondered if you would do that. I wondered.
Yeah. We'll miss her. We'll really miss her. She's got 17 months, I think, in the job. Or 16, something like that.
So that's there. Corey Provis, by the way, was very funny on Twitter last night as the world was crumbling around the Vikings.
Yes.
He just kept reminding people that the Twins were playing, and they were actually playing really well last night.
Yeah.
Royce Lewis, remember him?
Did he hit 2 dongs?
He hit 2 dongs, and he was basically dressed head to toe in Vikings gear. He had Vikings cleats on. It was very precious. And the Twins
what a performer.
The Twins beat the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim 12-3 last night. They're back at it tonight.
That should change everything pretty much, shouldn't it?
Well, it would be nice if Royce would show a pulse at least.
Yeah.
Because I do think he's still under contract for a year or two. So it'd be nice, given that we were comparing him to Kirby Puckett like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And that wasn't hyperbolic.
Yeah.
I mean, people were really doing that.
I do have some hyperbole for us to discuss as it relates to J.J. McCarthy when we come back. Is there anything else you wanted to get to, top 5?
No, we're good. Quick? We're good with that.
Well, we'll try to stay on schedule. Several really good talking points to discuss as well. Plenty of Vikings-Bears conversation is next.
Tyler Reddick here from 2311 Racing. The rush of racing? Nothing beats it. but Chumba Casino comes close. Chumba's got fast spins, fun games, daily bonuses, and all the action you can handle. Now that's a ride. Ready to hit the throttle? Get in the driver's seat and head to ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Let's talk Farm Aid 40. It's coming to Minneapolis. Willie Nelson, Neil Young, Kenny Chesney, Dave Matthews, and more. Saturday, September 20th at Huntington Bank Stadium. You can celebrate 40 years of music, food, and family farming. Enter for your chance to win a pair of tickets now on our contest page, KFAN.com, keyword contests.
Back in the old days, after that announcement from you, that reminder, I'd say, Gaardsy, that reminds me. Can we play a little Neil Young, Sugar Mountain coming back?
Simpler times.
But those were indeed simpler times, unfortunately. You can't be 20 on Sugar Mountain, as a lot of people know.
You'll have to listen to that on a new Pono player from Neil Young. Like Bill
Remember
Walton.
the Pono player?
I'll find that.
That was so brilliant. So brilliantly played by the late, great Bill Walton. Out of nowhere. Neil had sent him a Pono. That was the Neil's attempt to revolutionize sound quality. He was saying that all the digital ways people were listening to music was compressing the sound in such a way that you weren't getting the full fidelity until his Pono player.
Correct.
But and the problem was, I think the Pono player cost $1,000 or like $800, and I don't think it ever got off the ground. In fact, I don't even know if it still exists. Hard to say.
I'm bringing my brand new Pono player that Neil Young just gave to me that's fully loaded and ready to go. And the high quality resolution of the music, that'll carry me through.
That's too good. Oh, that's so good. I think this may be tongue in cheek, but it does raise an item worth a minute or two. This is from Tom and Savage. What had more impact, J-Max, Where Would You Rather Be, or Kirby Puckett's Get on My Back, Climb on My Back? I'm leaning J-Mac, writes Tom from Savage. That's why I think he's playing it nicely satirically. I will tell you, I have a hunch you're going to disagree with me on this, but I do think that particular nugget from last night is being overplayed a bit.
Oh, I'm with you.
I mean, it's gotten crazy in no time.
There's shirts available now.
It's just. And by the way, didn't he steal that from his former head coach, Jimmy Harbaugh? Wasn't that a Jim Harbaugh?
It could be. Harbaugh's big thing is who's got it better than us.
That's
nobody.
True. That's true.
But they go to the same school of hokey phrases like that.
It's just, it's crazy.
Well, and the other thing he said, too, he's so charming in the room, because I watched it last night.
You lost yourself in his eyes, didn't you?
No, but
you couldn't even see his eyes because he's got so much face paint on.
But after the game, when he was talking about how he's very clever in that he's very shucks and everybody's the greatest, but he'll also let you know, just told everybody. I got in the huddle and said, "Where else would we rather be?" Like he gives he paints a rosy picture of himself, which is fine. You got to have confidence, but he said something like, "A smile goes a long way in those moments."
I'm going to lean Puckett, given that was Game 6 of the World Series,
the last championship a men's team has won here,
and J-Mac, as nice a comeback as it was, and I just praised it moments ago. Don't have to apologize for it. Came in the first game of a season against the Chicago Bears. I mean, the more famous one of those kinds of moments was the Joe Montana John Candy moment. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah,
that was they were on the they were in their first Super Bowl under Walsh, and they got the ball back trailing by 3 or 4 to Cincy. And they're deep in their own end, and they end up driving the distance for the game-winning touchdown. And I think was it Fonhorst? I don't remember who it was who said they're in the huddle and they're all tense and they're all worried. The game is sitting there for them, but if they don't score here, it's over. They're going to lose the Super Bowl. And allegedly Montana taps one of his linemen on the shoulder and said, "Hey, isn't that John Candy in the crowd over there?" And allegedly that just
broke the tension.
Punctured the tension. The rest is history. Montana touchdown. pass, and they win the game. And then they win the Super Bowl. They're first.
John Candy documentary coming out. Have you seen the trailers for it? Yeah, it circulated over the weekend. I don't know which streaming service, but that will be something to keep an eye on. That would be something to keep an eye on for sure. Do you think it would be possible, writes Jeff in Monticello, to get the message to JJ that some of his face paint might be overdone? Good luck.
He could look more like a professional athlete instead of a high school quarterback by reducing it. Ooh.
Man, so he's turned on him.
He's turned on him. Well, I think
it's part of his warrior mentality.
I guess. Is it?
Seems like it.
Yeah, it does seem like a big deal to him, doesn't it?
It does.
How long does it take to put all that stuff on? And who does it? Do you do it for yourself, or do you have like a trainer who does it for you?
I would think you do it yourself.
And what is it made of? I'm not,
like the eye black stuff?
I'm
not
just
sure.
like Peter Schrager. I never played the game.
That's true.
What do you do with that? Or how do you,
I don't know what it's made of.
Okay.
I just know they sell it. And because, ball players use it and a lot of football players use it.
They do?
Yeah. I think the intent of it is to block out the glare in the sun. That's what I always remember. Remember, you could also
you're
buy,
right. Back in the day, you put it under your eyes, right?
Yeah.
To take the glare, the reflection out.
Yeah. Did that really work? Like, whenever I did that as a ball guy?
No, I think the players are just wired that way. They think it looks cool. We're going to war.
Because why wouldn't we do that when we're driving on 394 West?
Yeah, we should.
When it's 5:30 and the sun's right down on us.
You're right. Let's get to another Vikings talking point. There's several more good ones that we've not yet explored in depth, although we've hinted at a few and touched on a few. And one of them has to be what we describe special teams brilliance.
So now this is going to be a 59-yard try, left hash by Will Reichert with 11 seconds to go in the first half. The Vikings have no timeouts. Will's career long is 58. Snap spot. Reichert with a line drive bomb. Yes! Wow! It's good! That's a career long for Will Reichert. Jory Taylor. High line drive punt. It's returnable. Here comes Miles Price from the 27. Gets to the 30, 35 right side. Stutter steps to the 40. Ooh, Miles Price has juice. Gets to the 50 and the 48 of the Bears. Yeah, Miles Price. 23-yard return, and the Vikings will begin anew in Bears territory. Miles Price having a terrific game returning punts. Oh, it was blocked. Yes, it was. It was Dallas. No, it was Eric Wilson. And the ball rolls into Vikings territory, 40-35, and it stops at the 32-yard line. Holy cow. You talk about a momentum shift. Santos booms it 8 yards deep in the end zone. Ty Chandler wisely is going to come out to the 5, to the 10, to the 15, and he spins to the 25.
Don't fumble.
Hold onto the ball, Ty, and he's taken down to the 25. Wow. That play took 7 seconds.
Yeah, what a mistake by Santos.
Agreed. All right.
Mistake.
2-minute warning.
It was a mistake. The mistake was not just kicking the ball out of bounds for an onside, or for, should say, an automatic penalty. That means the clock doesn't start, which means when the Vikings offer their first play from scrimmage, presumably a running play, the 2-minute warning will serve as a timeout as we go to second down. A bad blunder by the rookie head coach. I'm not quite ready to say what some people are, that, well, then the Bears would have gotten the ball back with close to a minute to go. I don't rule out the possibility that in that environment, in that situation, the head coach of the Vikings might have been more willing to throw for the first down, or even to roll their quarterback for the first down. So he played it as conservatively as he did because he's playing the numbers.
Yes.
And the numbers are, if we just run 3 straight times and don't get a first down, they're going to get the ball back with, what was it, 8 seconds, 9 seconds to go?
It was, I think, like in the teens.
Was it in the teens? It was in the low teens if it was.
But then they snapped it into the guy that was running into the motion and had a penalty.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because I think Caleb realized, or maybe the center realized, the shot clock was going down. So they were on the verge of getting a delay of game penalty.
Right.
So he hikes it when he has to, and as you say, it ends up hitting the guy in motion.
And then
really
that
well orchestrated.
I know. Well, that's kind of where the point I wanted to make. And again, it was the Bears disclaimer, and the Vikings probably don't beat 28 of the 32 NFL teams except the Bears and maybe 3 others last night with how bad that first half was. But I got to thinking last night again, that winning all these close games is not an accident.
No, not at this point. I agree.
All the stuff we're talking about with Chicago right now, that they didn't score quick enough, and then they made the mistake on the kickoff. And really what put them in that whole predicament was Ben Johnson calling a ridiculous timeout to challenge the Hawkinson catch, right? Or the fumble.
Yes, terrible.
Which also ESPN official guy, I don't think understood what Joe Buck was trying to tell him.
No.
About punching it, and he was down. So, but you lose. Like, KOC doesn't make those mistakes very often.
No.
And those little things, I think, do add up to why they're good in these situations.
I meant to get into this with Seifert. The one question I do have, and this is what's funky, I think, because the rules guy who was on with ESPN, who was it last night? I don't remember who it was.
I don't know who that was.
Whoever
it was a different guy.
He kept saying, well, he's down. Well, he's not down if he's untouched and his knee is down. He can get back up.
Right.
So what gets tricky is, my question is, well, is it physically possible to punch a ball out without any contact with the player? Because the contact of any sort, even like on an eyelash, even by a sliver, is what allegedly makes him down by contact, right?
Yes.
And that's what makes that play interesting to me. It still wasn't worth challenging because you're not going to get the challenge. Because realistically, you're probably going to, as you're punching it out, you're touching some aspect of that player. But I don't even think referee guy or rules guy even understood that was the distinction.
Because Buck said that. Buck said, even though he punched the ball out.
Yes.
And the official's response, and people can correct me if I'm not remembering it right. I was at Gray's Food Hall for the appearance, I was listening. He basically said, well, no, the catch had already happened. Like he commented on something
completely. Yeah.
So I don't think, because if he does punch the ball out but doesn't touch any other part of Hawkinson,
right,
I think that should be a fumble if he doesn't touch him at all. And I'll be honest, that was fairly close from the punch.
Yeah.
Like, did he punch the ball first, or did he get his chest
close.
first?
Yes.
So in that respect, maybe I'm defending Johnson a little bit, but it's such a bang-bang thing.
It's not worth it on that situation.
And so they didn't have a timeout, which made the 2-minute warning thing such an issue, and then they screwed that part of it up too. So
very much so.
KOC doesn't make those mistakes very often.
Not often. That's very true. Tell Johnny Randall that he wears too much eye black and see how that goes.
Ooh.
Well, I'm not sure I would say that to Johnny Randall, but Johnny Randall is a Hall of Famer. I mean, JJ might end up being one, but he's just starting in his career. More talking points to get to, including, I think, the biggest one, the drive that changed everything in this game. Everything was changed on the basis of one drive in which, yes, the Vikings got, I think, a very, very fortunate call. I know we never get them, but I think we did.
Looking for excitement? Chumba Casino is here. Play anytime, play anywhere. Play on the train, play at the store, play at home, play when you're bored. Play today for your chance to win and get daily bonuses when you log in. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay. Chumba Casino is free to play.
Experience social gameplay like never before. Go to Chumba Casino right now to play hundreds of games, including online slots, Slingo, and more. Live the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
At least in this case.
You're up for a hilarious night when Dane Cook returns to the Island Event Center. You can see his legendary style of stand-up comedy live at Treasure Island Friday, October 24th. All the details are at TICasino.com.
Judd in Chicago writes, I think the ball is considered part of the player relative to touching to be considered down, presuming the player has possession of the ball. I'm not certain, but I think that's what Buck was trying to highlight. So if a knee is down and a defender touches the ball, it's down by contact. Supposedly, your guy McAfee went over this on his show today, and maybe that's and that almost. I mean, I'm assuming that almost has to be the rule, because it looked to me like there was no other real touching you could see. It was I'm going to punch at the ball. I'm not even punching at you. I'm punching at the ball. Then again, part of the reason the rule might be set up this way is how can you really determine whether in punching the ball out, there's not going to likely be some kind of contact with the body.
Right.
So, in any case, it ends up being much ado about nothing.
If the ball is part of the... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say it did cost the Bears a very important timeout.
And if the ball is part of the body, or considered part of the body, then it's an even dumber challenge.
Correct.
Because
you should know that.
There was no fuzziness then.
Now, somebody else is trying to tell us regarding the kicking out of bounds thing that the Vikings could decline the penalty by rule. Meaning what? They'd have to kick again? Couldn't the Bears then kick the ball out of bounds into perpetuity? I mean, I don't know. I'd have to.
We need
rules.
We need Gene Sarator.
Kevin Seifert's pretty good at knowing rules, so maybe if he's listening, he can text us on that very point, because I did mean to get to that subject with him and did not quite find the time to do so. Meantime, all right. So we've done the running is good talking point. By the way, all of our talking points brought to you by our good friends at Federated Insurance.
Thank you.
We've done the special teams brilliance talking point. We've done the yin and the yang of a young quarterback talking point. Let's not delay any longer. Let's get to the series that, quite frankly, changed everything and is the reason we're even celebrating a Minnesota Vikings victory in Week 1.
Williams play action from under center, straight drop. Bernard's rushing on him, but he gets it away left. Flag on the play, caught DeAndre Swift at the 20. Toe tapping the sideline to the 15, to the 12. It's a 12-yard catch and run by DeAndre Swift. Pending infraction, here's Alan Eck.
Holding, number 58 offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
Right tackle, Darnell Wright. Odunze in motion to the right. The Vikings blitz from the middle. Williams is able to get away from a Viking up the middle, and now outside of the numbers.
That might be a fumble.
He tried to throw it away, and it's an incomplete pass. Excellent rush, I believe, by Eric Wilson up the middle on a blitz.
Yeah, very good job, and also a great job by Jalen Redmond as well. He knew the escape route. We got a flag. It might be intentional grounding.
Mm-hmm. And Caleb, by the way, walking around like he's shaking up just a little bit, or maybe he's tired.
He's probably tired.
That's first game of the season, Alan Eck.
Intentional grounding, number 18 offense. The quarterback was outside the pocket. However, the pass did not cross the line of scrimmage. No receivers in the air of the pass. Lost it down. 10-yard penalty. Third down.
Oh, all right. So it's 3rd and 20. Well, let's have some more good news, like a Cairo Santos missed field goal from 50 to start the 4th quarter. Snap spot from the left hash. Line drive kick is no good.
There we go.
Cairo Santos. He just missed a field goal, but the score is still 17-6. And we have decent field position here.
Excellent field position. Excellent field position. Game changes. So, again, I think it was a pretty bad holding call, although I do think the mistake Wright made, and I don't know when the flag came out, was I don't remember who the defender was on the ground, and then it looked like he kind of was holding him down then, which I think was totally unnecessary. But be that as it may, most of the insiders believe that was a pretty phantom call, and it changes everything. Vikings, or I should say Bears, are going to have a 1st and 10 at the 12 with a chance to go up 24-6. And their offense was actually moving it a little bit on that drive for the first time in a long time in the ballgame. Instead, it's 2nd and 20. Then what happens? Well, again, you can't really blame the Vikings for this. You have to blame the Bears for not recovering, even if it was not a particularly great call. Well, you don't recover if Caleb Williams misses a wide open Cole Kmet. Another example of how inaccurate Williams became, especially in the second half of that ball game. That would have been right there on 2nd and 20, worth 15 or maybe even a first down. That's how good a play that could have been. So now it's 3rd down, and at that point, of course, Caleb then ends up under pressure, scrambles out, and he gets the intentional grounding call. So now you lost the down and you're at 4th down. And eventually, what again, the Bears field goal kicker, I don't think he's great. He's pretty reliable inside of 40. But now it's a 50-yard penalty. I should say a 50-yard field goal. Makeable, but also missable, and that goes wide right. And so instead of going up 20-6 or potentially 24-6, it's still 17-6, and the Vikings have excellent field position from that miss. And at that point, the game starts to turn. In fact, wasn't that the drive where it started with the 2 running plays by Jordan Mason?
Yes.
I think the first
right after
of our scoring drives. Yep. That was it. That's what got the thing going. And suddenly it becomes a very, very different ball game. And it is a reminder of how, thin the margin is between winning and losing, whether you're playing a good team or you're playing a bad team. We should, by the way, credit your guy, Eric Wilson, because it was pressure from Wilson up the middle that flushed Caleb Williams out. That's when then he ends up the throwaway. I mean, part of the reason he didn't get the ball back to the line of scrimmage is because he's tripping. He's on his way to the ground, and he's just trying to get rid of the ball any way he can. And that's what led, I think it's the correct call there, intentional grounding. And then Santos misses from 50 yards. And I do think you could feel the undercurrent from the crowd. A little bit like, for all of this relative dominance, we're only up 11 points. We're not even up 14. And they've got the ball in scoring position right from there, at which point KOC did the right thing and said, we got this running back for a reason. Let's go out and see if he can get something done on the ground. And the first 2 plays were exactly that. And suddenly the door is open a little bit. JJ's feel a little more confident. Maybe there's a safety coming down to help against the run. He's got some openings as well. And the rest is history, correct? So massive series of plays.
It all turned right there.
It completely turned.
All the other talking points you talked about, or a lot of them, didn't happen if not for that series.
That's it. Yeah, because that was then Mason runs for 7. Mason runs for 18. And then that was the drive that ended with the McCarthy to JJ touchdown pass, which was a good pass in that he kind of had to throw it low and away to put it in that the only opening that existed. That's a pass that obviously Justin Jefferson is going to make, and he did. And suddenly you got a ball game. And then Mason also, we talked about this earlier with Seifert. He helped with 2 different defenders, basically giving the quarterback enough time to make that throw, which was very helpful as well. I got one more Vikings talking point. Might as well get to it now, right? This is what we call in the business the defense never rests, and it's directly related then to the first time the Bears get the ball after the JJ to JJ touchdown pass that has cut the Bears' lead to 17-12.
Defense needs to come up big right here. Hopefully they're energized by what the offense just was able to do.
1st and 10 from the Chicago 25 for Caleb Williams, who puts DJ Moore in motion to the right. Williams back to pass. Hey, sack! They finally sacked Caleb Williams. Javon Hargrave, welcome to the purple and gold. That's his first sack wearing the colors. And it's going to be a loss of 8, making it 2nd and 18.
And that's exactly why you brought Javon Hargrave and Jonathan Allen in, Paul, to be able to get pressure on the quarterback without bringing the blitz. And Javon Hargrave, man, he just absolutely beat Jonah Jackson off the ball. I mean, just a fabulous job. He and Drew Dalman, he's wearing them out.
2nd and 18. It's a gun run to DeAndre Swift. And with Blake Cashman out of the game with a swoon over his hammy, Eric Wilson is absolutely capitalizing. That's a loss of 1. Now it's 3rd and 19. Back to the Bears 16. Bears lead 17-12. 11-10 and counting to go in the season opener. And this capital L and his friend the lowercase L in front of us have decided to sit down.
Now let's see. We got the 4-man rush coming here. Maybe with Drake Rodriguez. I don't know. We might see Van Ginkel as well.
3rd and 19 for Caleb Williams out of the shotgun. 2 receivers right and left. Now Odunze in motion to the right. They're going to swing it to him. And Van Ginkel nearly jumped it like he did twice last year.
Ball game.
I mean, Van Ginkel had Caleb Williams read like he was in the same class with him at USC.
They know. They know it's over. They know it's over at that point, and that's it. They've just cut it to 5, and the Vikings defense does exactly what Peter Bursic asked them to do. You seize that momentum. You basically intimidate a team that still hasn't figured anything out offensively, starting with their highly coveted young quarterback, and they're punting the ball again, and we're driving again, and we got another touchdown. We're ahead. That's it. I mean, that was basically, so it follows up nicely with what took place the series before. And we've all been there, man. A team whose fans has suffered as much as Bears fans have, and I know nobody wants to feel too sorry for the Bears because they're a division rival. And in fact, they honored the 1985 Bears team, which was an awfully good team.
Yes.
That goes back a ways now. But the fact is the Bears have been pretty bad for a long time. And that undercurrent of reaction, that's years in the making. That's not minutes in the making or days in the making. That's years in the making where then you assume that if anything can go wrong, it will. And you're going, we've lost it. We've lost control of this game. Might as well head to the parking lots right now. Let's go get a Portillo's beef sandwich on the way out. That's it. It's over.
We're Minnesota sports fans. We understand the feeling. We understand the feeling.
Not as much lately. Although, sooner or later, one of these years, we've got to make a postseason run, don't we?
It'd be nice. Can we talk about Gink for a second? Van Ginkel?
You can't get enough of Gink, can you?
Well, I love it, and I like saying Gink. I like hearing Kevin O'Connell say Gink, like he does on X's and O's, which will be tomorrow night if you missed it with PA earlier today. I can't for the life of me figure out why, if you're about to run that little screen that they ran on third down. And you see, because I'm watching it, and you can tell Gink's up to something.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of creeping there.
Yeah.
And if your triple ZY banana play is to throw that screen and you look and your pre-snap read is Van Ginkel's on that side, how can you throw that? How can there not be we're going to shift this. We're going to do it the other side, or we're doing a completely different play, because that could have been, like PA said, the third time he's housed it he's so good at that.
Yeah, he is good at it.
He knows it's coming.
He's perfected it.
And even I watched him, and I'm like, he's up to something. Something's going on. He's either going or whatever he's going to do. Like, you just have to check out of that. People have to stop throwing it at Gink.
The problem, of course, is there's very few great 3rd and 19 plays.
That's true.
For anybody, let alone a team that really hasn't been able to establish anything after that first drive offensively. But you're right. I don't know this to be the case, but I also think there's something weird about Caleb Williams' cadence that I wonder if that ends up being, we're going to learn somewhere down the road, part of the reason why they had as many false starts as they did. I do not think he handles the mechanics of the position anywhere near as well as a guy of his pedigree is supposed to. And now, this is his second year. He played a whole year last year, so we'll see. Ed in St. Paul is asking, did KOC botch the preseason approach at least this year based upon the early struggles of the Vikings, the kid QB in Chicago? They managed him like a 7-year vet. He played only 12 more snaps in preseason, the MVP. Josh Allen did. Kid needs the experience of playing football. It had been 580 days back to the Natty since he played a game of consequence.
Thought he said 600.
He did say, I think he said actually 680. You're right. Whatever it was a bunch, a long time. We'll never know. I would have liked to have seen, I think we're both on record on that, a little bit more McCarthy in the preseason. But then again, is it fool's gold anyway? Because he's not going to have other people around him. Their whole offensive line was not going to be intact in the preseason. So there may be no around what took place. And I don't want to give the Vikings that much of an alibi for how badly they played the first 2 quarters offensively, that it's not their fault. It was because the coach wouldn't put them out there more often. I generally tend to think, even for a veteran, I should say an accomplished young quarterback, based on the rest of his career, such as McCarthy, I think, even though I understand why you don't want to play him more in the preseason, I think you're better off playing a guy a lot more in the preseason. Now, again, the comeback to that is until he gets hurt, and if he gets hurt, you're out of your mind. Even if it means growing pains, taking the hit in the first half of your first regular season game, you got to play those odds because there's just too much to lose. He's coming off a significant injury, And the last thing you want to do is put him back on the bench as well. So we'll never know. I think around the league, some of the sloppiness that we tend to see early is related to how little these guys play preseason. And because there was a time where these guys played every preseason game, for God's sake, or pretty close to it.
Yeah.
That goes back a long time. But especially I feel like the last 5 to 10 years, certainly the last 5 years, the trend is almost we don't play you at all. That's sort of the approach that we indeed take. Where else I had one other text I wanted to get to before we wrap up the top of the hour break. Hold on a second. It'll come to me. Oh, by the way, what did you think? So we had the usual, the broadcast crew is what we're accustomed to, right, on ESPN.
Yeah. Joe and Troy.
I thought they did quite well. I'm now mad at myself that I didn't watch more of the Manning cast because I do think it can be educational when things aren't going very well, especially.
Yes.
Because I don't think those guys criticize with any, malign intent. I think for them it's just a couple of, wily veteran quarterbacks just observing, and they can't help themselves. What they see, they're going to respond to, and they're not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. They're really not trying to savage so much as they're saying, well, no, you can't do that or whatever, but it's a good education.
It is.
In how a quarterback's mind works.
And it hurts Peyton's heart when the quarterback doesn't play well.
You're right.
You can tell.
It just
I agree with eats at him. Eli, maybe not as much. But Peyton, you can tell it just hurts him because he's like,
oh.
He feels like it's all preventable because he's Peyton Manning. Right. And if you prepare enough and and like the interception, I think you reposted it. It was a good breakdown of
it was
where the ball needed to go and why it needed to go there and why he threw it there when he should have done this.
Yeah.
And I loved, too, I saw the clip where they played the Eli game where I guess they won the Super Bowl that year where we picked them off 4 times and housed 3 of them. I think Greenway had one of them.
I don't remember that.
He threw 8 interceptions against the Vikings in 2 years. We just absolutely crushed them. And they played that. That's where it is good. And I guess Randy Moss was great, too. Who just rang the bell as cancer treatments are done. A lot of people are
crediting Moss because they said when he came on board, that's when the team started to turn. That's a nice angle. And I hope Moss is doing well for all the obvious reasons. Was Bill Murray on the broadcast early, too?
He was.
Okay, I didn't see any of that. Yeah.
Caleb Williams had a big scramble where he got out and then did a spin move.
Right.
And Murray just says, remind me a little of you, Peyton.
Well played.
Very dry.
Very well played. Joe Buck still doesn't like the Vikings. He is a disgusting act. Here we go again.
Calm down.
People just can't get.
They can't.
They just got to move on.
I think now people just say it because they think they're supposed to.
Yeah, you're probably
And they want
right.
us to defend Joe Buck, which I will forever because I think he's
extremely good at what he does.
Top 5 all time.
And
maybe.
Aikman is too.
Yes.
There's any question about that. I mean, Aikman does get annoyed with officiating sometimes, so you notice that a couple times where he says, don't get me started on that stuff. But I think he's pretty fair. I don't think they were biased against the purple last night. Do you?
Because they were noticing that the offense sucked for 40 minutes.
What are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
And we got a couple of good calls. It's not illegal. We don't have to apologize for it. But, I mean, that also did contribute. I mean, we were on the right side of most of them. Yeah. On the other hand, the Bears were absolutely responsible for many more that made Caleb Williams' job even harder than it needed to be. And given some of his challenges still, he does not need those kinds of things going against him. If he's going to ever develop into being the kind of player he's supposed to be. Top of the hour break, we will play back our 3:15 conversation with the Vikings' old and new wide receiver, Adam Thielen. That's
Looking for excitement? Chumba Casino is here. Play anytime, play anywhere. Play on the train, play at the store, play at home, play when you're bored. Play today for your chance to win and get daily bonuses when you log in. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay. Chumba Casino is free to play.
Experience social gameplay like never before. Go to Chumba Casino right now to play hundreds of games, including online slots, Slingo, and more. Live the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
next. Weekly Vikings guests. We announced, a week or so ago, will be wide receiver Adam Thielen. Once a Viking, then a Panther, now a Viking again. And in our conversation, our first conversation of our weekly series with Adam Thielen, he mentioned to us much earlier in the show, kind of told us the backstory on the trade being consummated, where he came in and how kind of pessimistic he'd become that the deal was ever going to be consummated. We also talked very much about what took place last night, his observations on J.J. McCarthy, etc. We tried to cover a number of fronts with the very experienced and I think happy to be back here, Adam Thielen. I'll start with the obvious question. If, I don't know, 6 months ago, hell, maybe even a month ago, I'd have said to you, after the first Monday night game of the season, you'd be talking to me as a member of the Vikings, and you would have been at Soldier Field on that first Monday night celebrating with your teammates one of the more improbable victories. Would you have called me an idiot? Would you think I was insane? I'm just trying to figure out how you have sort of processed the unlikely nature of you being in the position you are again.
I mean, shoot, 2.5 weeks ago, I would have said you're crazy. So, obviously, special locker room, special team, and leadership, as you could see last night. So excited to be a part of it. We got a long ways to go, but obviously a great start to the season and a lot of momentum that we can build on.
Everybody, a lot of your teammates talked about what they observed of particularly the quarterback, even as things are going badly. And they're all saying we're getting various vibes from him that he's not curling up in the fetal position. He's not wallowing in his struggles. And I'm wondering what you saw, as a guy who's been around forever and worked with a lot of different quarterbacks, what you were aware of as you're playing this out, because it obviously did not start very impressively for the offense.
I think I go back even 2 summers ago when I first threw with him, and obviously never thought he would be my quarterback someday. But yeah, I go back to that moment. I just think of his competitive spirit. I think of his positive, competitive energy that I felt then. And obviously that's just like summer throwing, shorts and T-shirts, not a competitive situation. And you could feel that. And then now fast forward to last night and to see that come to fruition when the lights are on. Obviously you saw those things in college, in big games, but to be able to do that first start, Monday Night Football, back in his home city, and to be able to respond the way he did, obviously said a lot about him. So I think everyone in that locker room is excited to continue to go to work with him and go to battle. And we know there's going to be some ups and downs for all of us.
Sure.
And we're just excited to be a part of it.
He said after the game, Adam, that the completion to Naylor that led to the 59-yard field goal at the end of the half helped him a lot. Just the idea of, all right, we've made a play, where you're a quarterback, you want to sling it a little bit. He had a chance to sling it a little bit to an open receiver and make a big play. What did you see about that play do you think that might have helped? And even what the mood was at halftime in the locker room?
I feel that was kind of the mindset of the entire offense. We were kind of just trying to find that moment. We were trying to find that moment that gave us some momentum to say, all right, we've settled in. We've had some positions here. We know what they're doing defensively. Obviously, we all trust KO and the offensive staff to put us in great positions because there's some of the business, obviously. And I think it was just that moment that we were all looking for. But him in particular, as the quarterback, is the guy who's got the ball in his hands every play. I would imagine that like he said, kind of jump-started him to say, all right, we can do this. We can come back and we can play well and ultimately win this game.
So he gets then, unfortunately, after that, there was the pick six, all right? And there it's looking a little bit shaky again because the Bears really hadn't done anything offensively since that first series, but now they got to gift 7 points. When a play like that happens for your quarterback, what is your approach as wide receiver guy? Do you leave him alone? There's other people to talk to him. Not my job? Is it I go over and I do make a point of trying to interact with him? What was your approach last night?
Yeah, my approach is give him some space, And then obviously we're right back up on the field. So right before we go on the field, like, hey, a lot of football, a lot of time. I mean, that was the benefit to us at that moment of the game, is there was a lot of time left on that clock. And you look up and you're like, wow, there's football to play, and a lot can happen. In this league, a lot can happen in a short amount of time. So I think that gave us a lot of confidence that this game's not over. And again, just like, let's do this. We got a lot of time. We all know what we're all capable of individually. Let's go put it together.
So one of the off-season stories, pretty much from the end of last season, when it ended badly in the playoffs from KOC, was this notion that we've got to get more stout. We're going to change some things in the offensive line. We're going to get bigger. We're going to get a little bit more physical. And we have to be able to play different ways, which I think a lot of us thought was translated as we've got to be able to run the ball better. Not to just become a running team, but to have that as a complement. And I thought there were key stretches, especially with Jordan Mason, where we saw some sign of exactly what the running game can do, especially for a quarterback who is new, who is trying to figure this thing out and is trying to gain some confidence. How aware are you of this becoming part of the emphasis on this team?
Yeah, I mean, it was a big emphasis for us going into the game, really kind of knowing what we have in that backfield, kind of that different change of pace running style, two guys back there that we can rely on. And then like you said, the stoutness up front, right? They made that a point this offseason. Obviously, I haven't been around those guys very long, but the little that I have, you realize that it's a really good front there that is able to do a lot of things well, not just in the run game, but also in the pass game, and giving JJ confidence back there to be able to give him a little bit of time to make some plays. So in this league, you got to be able to do everything well. You can't just be a passing team or a running team. You have to do it all well to go places where you want to go. So again, it's a great start. A lot to build on, and excited to be a part of those guys, because not only are those guys both great runners and can do a lot of things out of the backfield, but they're also great leaders and great teammates. So those are the guys you cheer for and you hope that have success, and they did. How gratifying was the 2-point conversion catch? Tell me a little bit more. Tell me a little bit about that play and what happened there. Yeah, just obviously a great play call to get us in a position where we could go make a play. And yeah, it felt good to obviously contribute a little bit. Had a little bit of rough play before that, so just to get the ball in my hands and kind of get over that play was good. And obviously in this team this year, it's going to be about what can you do to help this team win football games. And that's doing your job at the best of your ability, especially when it matters. So that's the focus of all of us as individuals. And, Coach said, do the routine things routinely. So just trying to do that day in, day out, play in, play out, and refocusing every play as part of the game of football. Has it been easy? I mean, does it feel like literally you never left? Has it been that seamless and easy to come back? We all assume that's the case because of how comfortable you were here, how big a contributor you were, but you were gone for more than a minute. So has it been like nothing, just walking back in the door? Yeah, it's crazy. You step back in the building and you literally feel like time went backwards, right? and you just never left. Obviously thankful for the entire organization and the players of kind of just welcoming me with open arms. It's kind of a interesting thing when you come back into a locker room you haven't been in a long time. You just don't necessarily know how you'll be received, but very, very thankful for the teammates and the coaches and really just everyone in that building just welcomed me with open arms. And, it's almost one of those things where I want to do right by them so badly because they've given me so much by allowing me to come back and be a part of this team. So just trying to do my part and be the player that I know I can be. Two last things. Adam Thielen is going to be our weekly guest. We're looking forward to this all season long, starting with this appearance. So can you let us behind the curtain a little bit? Because when the speculation started from the beginning, you were the logical guy, obviously, especially with the suspension. Here's a guy who can plug in, experienced receiver, and you just let him go play. But the early line was, no, Carolina's going to want too much.
it's going to become too difficult. And I thought a lot of people thought it might have been dead. So how are you playing this out as you're hearing? How are you processing it? And can you figure out what changed, what opened the door to making this trade actually happen to bring you back here?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. It's been a wild few weeks. Just a lot of emotions, a lot of ups and downs as far as, is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? I'm hearing from my agent, what both sides are saying, and there's just a lot going on. So it was definitely a very, very crazy couple of weeks. But yeah, I think at some points in the conversations, I thought there's no chance it was happening. And really until it happened towards the end, I just kind of knew that I thought it wasn't going to happen. And then I got a phone call from my agent saying deal's done. Get on the 11 o'clock a.m. flight. I was in the hot tub in the locker room in Carolina and sprinted out there to catch a flight to get to practice here in Minnesota. So definitely wild times. Not a lot of time to prepare for the move and all that. But thankfully, I got a rock star of a wife who has just took this and really made it easy on our family by getting the kids into school, getting them signed up to sports, canceling everything back in Carolina, and there's a lot going on. But again, we're very thankful and happy and blessed to be back home. And my kids were more than thrilled to be able to come back home and see their cousins and family and obviously friends from school.
Must be wild. Is it fair to say if you had not been willing to make some concessions on your own regarding salary, that maybe we're not having this conversation?
Yeah, they were very clear with that if it does go through, there'd have to be something there, and before they could even explain, we made it very clear that we were okay with that, and excited to be just hoping that the trade gets done and that we can make it work. So yeah, again, just excited to be here, excited to be a part of this, and want to contribute in any way I can.
Last one. Have you thought much about, you got a night game or you got a home game coming up next, what it's going to be like for you, going back through that tunnel, whether you're introduced or not, and heading back into a stadium that you know so well for the Vikings home opener?
Yeah, I think for the most part right now, I'm focused on how I can get better and how I can really get the game plan down and help this team win games. But I'd be lying if I didn't say that when the trade talks kind of started happening and you see the stuff on social media, I think that's kind of where my brain first went, was like, man, that would be crazy to get back in that stadium, to walk out of that tunnel again, to be in that atmosphere. And I kind of had, envisioned what that would be like. So yeah, obviously there's nothing better than playing in front of that home crowd. This fan base is like none other, and so it definitely will be a special moment. But at the same time, there's been a lot of excitement and there's been a lot going on. So I really need to focus on what I can control, focus on how I can get better and how I can get more on the same page with JJ and get the system down. So that will be my focus this week.
He's Adam Thielen, back as wide receiver help for your favorite football team, the Minnesota Vikings. He will be joining us weekly throughout the 2025 season and, of course, the Vikings hope postseason as well. Let's come back, wrap up a controversial edition of the program, and remind you what we have coming up tomorrow.
Tyler Reddick here from 2311 Racing. The rush of racing? Nothing beats it. But Chumba Casino comes close. Chumba's got fast spins, fun games, daily bonuses, and all the action you can handle. Now that's a ride. Ready to hit the throttle? Get in the driver's seat and head to ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.